What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Red Dead Redemption 2 is being overpraised. Yesterday on our channel, we had a video up where I talked about if Red Dead Redemption 2 was the game of the generation, so I kind of wanted to do it a little bit backwards. I wanted to kind of play devil's advocate and talk about the other side of things, talk about is Red Dead 2 being overpraised, because, I saw this in a couple comments of our own videos on this channel. I've seen stuff on Twitter, I've seen stuff being talked about on the internet that, people have talked about in regards to this. So I do want to bring some of that up and also offer up my own opinion on this, because I do feel it's pretty interesting. Here's the thing. Any game that comes out can have multiple different opinions on it. Not everybody's going to see a game the exact same way. I think that pretty much goes that way with basically anything. But with a game, with a form of entertainment such as a video game, one person is not going to see it or enjoy it or experience it the same way as somebody else. Sure, there's a collective, viewpoint of a game. A lot of times, that's pretty much when a game is so recognizable, so much loved or whatever, that a lot of people just kind of go with it, that is so good, but not everybody's always going to feel like that. So here's the thing: is Red Dead Redemption 2 overpraised? Well, that's an interesting thing. I honestly feel like it probably isn't, because I do actually really enjoy the game, and I really love the realism. I really love everything that they did, and I've talked about that in the past couple of videos. I think that the attention to detail that Rockstar put in, the voice acting, the acting in general, the script writing, the stories, the everything they're telling, the very small details, it really makes for a fantastic world. And especially when the game opens up, there's just so much you can do in this game, so many things to experience and so many little things. However, there are some smaller things that have gotten on people's nerves. There's some things a lot of times I've read from people that they talked about the actual movement, which I had talked about too. It's very obvious when you start to play this game that the movement is that slow, very heavy feel that Rockstar Games is very used to. And you can go with the point that maybe that's the realism fact. Shooting a gun is more realistic in this game than I think in any Rockstar game they've ever made. But there is undeniably that kind of heavy feel to it, and a lot of people have talked about, especially I've seen on Twitter, that they really don't like that and it really takes them out of the world. Some people talked about like the meaningless tasks, the very small things you have to do to accomplish things, and a lot of people were even saying and talked about giving Rockstar all this credit while ignoring some of the things. And here's the thing, I do think that is in a way somewhat fair. I do think there are some things in this game that definitely aren't the most perfect, and no game is ever going to really be perfect, but there are small things in this game that I feel like people do just write off and kind of give to Rockstar. Now, Rockstar as a company, I'm not ever really the biggest fan of them. I feel like as a company, they are a little bit cocky with the kind of stuff that they do, and here's the thing: do they deserve to be like that? Well, they do make some pretty amazing games, but they do kind of always act like they're above everybody with the way they go about things. And so do I feel like people give them free passes because they're Rockstar? Yes. Do I think people give Bethesda free passes because they're Bethesda? Yes. But you could also make that same argument for like a gaming studio that I love and I think is the best gaming studio in the world, and Naughty Dog. While I think they're the best at what they do, and while I love all their games, not everybody's going to love Uncharted, not everybody's going to love The Last of Us. So you could say, do people give free write-offs to Naughty Dog because they're Naughty Dog? Yeah. And I feel like, some developers in the gaming industry do have that kind of experience and just that name where people say, oh, well, this is a thing that could hurt other games, but because you're who you are, you get the free pass. But another thing to remember is, I think when we talk about Red Dead Redemption 2, the game is so good. And any of these smaller things really are just smaller things. I don't think any of them really take you out of having the game be good. Okay, so when we're talking about is it being overpraised, I guess what I'm really saying is, does it deserve the talk of the game of the generation, right? Game of the year even. Because anything below that, people saying that's a great game, and if you say, well, are you overpraising them? No, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great game. I think no matter any of the small things you could possibly point out about the game and then say, well, because it's Rockstar, you give them free passes, I don't think that brings down the bar far enough down to say anything below like great. Do I think it's even game of the year? Probably. I really do enjoy the game. And so, being overpraised by saying like it's a game of the year contender, I really don't feel like that's fair to say. Now, when when people are talking about game of the generation and, GTA 5 and this game are two of the best games over the last like 10 years, and they are the two best games, maybe then you could talk about is the game being overpraised, and that's definitely a discussion. But personally for me, I do feel like it deserves the praise it's getting. I really do feel like it's a step forward. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that's more than a game. It's an experience, and Tyler did talk about that in the community series leading up to it, and I get that from some people. I did see that on Twitter leading up to this game, people saying that they feel like they would have enjoyed Red Dead Redemption 2 more if they watched it. They feel like watching it is a better experience than playing it, and I kind of get that. I really do, because I feel like even playing it myself, I'd be like, I'd have a lot of fun watching somebody play. I feel like the live streams I've had, people have really had a lot of fun watching me just do random things in that game. I feel like that does speak as to something. That's a pro because it's fun to watch, but is it also a con? Yeah, kind of it, and it honestly is, and that could also work its way into the overpraising thing. Is it being overpraised? Is it more of a game that you kind of watch and you don't even need to get yourself? You can just watch others play it. Is it that kind of game? And if it is that kind of game, is it really that good? And I do feel like there's arguments to be made. I'm not going to say anybody's right or wrong. I'm not, because again, it's a game, it's a video game, and people have their own opinions. Not everybody's going to agree. Not everybody's going to see a game or experience the game the exact same way. That's that's just not how it works. So while I like Red Dead Redemption 2, while I think it is a Game of the Year contender, I'm not ready to say if it is my Game of the Year or not. I do believe it's definitely a contender for it. And some people may not feel like. Some people may feel like this game is getting too much praise than it deserves, and that's fair too. Because you can definitely make an argument, I think. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think Red Dead Redemption 2 is being overpraised? Do you think it's Game of the Year? Do you think it's Game of the Generation? Where does this game fall in your mind? Let me know. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now, for more videos like this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next video.